I always saw myself not as a business person, but as a creative person. I was a creator, so I was always wanted to build. And my desire to build and create is what drove me to become an entrepreneur. I want to know about the world. I'm not here in my life just to earn money. I honestly, money ends up being a byproduct of what I do. I am here to learn about life, to experience life, to meet really smart and interesting people who can open up doors for me that I wouldn't otherwise be open. For me, the wealth is a means to be free to do what I want, not to have to worry about, just doing what makes money. So how wealthy am I? I'll put it this way. I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to work. So to me, I'm wealthy enough not to worry about whether I succeed or fail. Moving forward, as long as I don't blow all my money, as long as I don't make too many bad investments, I will be fine.
I remember the first time I met him, it was actually at one of those founders networking parties. And I remember someone introduced me to Steve, and I noticed that everyone knew Steve, and everyone was kind of like approaching him and shaking hands, and I was thinking, oh my God, that person is probably like someone very famous. So currently Steve is the advisor in our startup, and the experience so far has been amazing. We've learned a lot. It allowed us not to make a lot of mistakes that founders usually do in their startups. I'm pretty sure that saved us a lot of money down the way.
Founderspace is one of the leading incubators and accelerators in the world. Our mission has been to be the launch pad for founders coming from all over the globe to Silicon Valley. We make it really easy for entrepreneurs here to plug into everybody at Silicon Valley. We give them all the tools and knowledge so that they can quickly go out and start raising capital, and then we educate them on what it takes to succeed here in our ecosystem in the Silicon Valley culture.
I think of this accelerator as more of a school. It is a place, these are our students, and we're just trying to help them as much as we can by teaching them as much as we can.
Entrepreneurs are so creative and they're so smart. I always feel like I'm learning as much or more than I'm actually teaching them.
We have to take steps and have milestones that we achieve. If we don't make these milestones, then the whole funding process comes to a stop. And most of the startups are very weak on marketing and selling, especially B2B. Help set up the first meetings, set up their sales organization, and hit milestones. Strategic partners, increase the value, raise funds. Make sales, bring revenue. Pretty simple.
There are always big trends happening. And right now, the big trends for entrepreneurs are robotics, artificial intelligence, big data, virtual reality, medical devices. All of these are exploding right now. I think the biggest #1 trend will be artificial intelligence. If you are an entrepreneur, I think that's the area to focus on at this point in time. Anybody can have a good idea. But a good idea is only a good idea. It's not a good business. You need to implement, you need to execute on that idea. And an idea goes through many, many changes. It's much harder to change directions after you raise money than before. So most entrepreneurs make the mistake of sticking with the same idea too long. You need to go out, get your data early. If it doesn't confirm what you're doing, you need to switch. Also, the landscape is changing very fast. So you need to be in one of the fast tracks and make sure it's an idea that the timing is right, the idea is so compelling that people are like, I gotta hear more. If people aren't telling you, I gotta hear more, when can I meet with you again? Change your idea. If an entrepreneur is gonna come to Silicon Valley from China, they need a couple things. So #1, they need to understand how Silicon Valley works. And that's where Founderspace helps. But they also need to speak fluent English. American investors require you to speak English. They want to communicate with the CEO. If you're an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley from China, you're native Chinese, you speak and understand the culture, you're not a second or third generation, then I think it's a good opportunity for you to go back if you want. I mean, doing a startup in Silicon Valley is great. So I see a lot of the Chinese entrepreneurs here, they actually want to launch their startups in Silicon Valley, but sometimes they have visa issues. So they are forced to go back. And when they're forced to leave the country, they take all the knowledge and understanding and everything they learned here back to China, which can be extremely valuable and put them in a good position. The one thing that they have to do is make sure that when they go back, they have the relationships, because as you know, China is a very relationship-driven culture, and the business culture especially. So they need to make sure that they have fostered the right relationships that will give their company a competitive edge when they get back into the Chinese market. If they've been away too long and they haven't maintained or developed those, or they can't bring on local partners that have those, that can be an issue. The Entrepreneurs gives me a chance to get inside the heads of some of the most talented entrepreneurs in the world, see how they think and how they run their businesses. It allows me to educate myself about all these new businesses that I would never know anything about. The Entrepreneurs allows me to see how startups really work from the inside.